Okay, this is the fourth routine in this series devoted to Bessey sequences and the Gilbreath Principle. So as you can see, I have 8 cards here, and I want you to help me come up with 2 piles of 4 cards each, and then we're going to mix the cards to your heart's content, and then separate the cards again into 2 piles of 4 cards each, with you making all of the important choices. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just push off the top 2. Which one of these would you like as the first card in your pile? The bottom one? Okay, I'll put the other card on the bottom. What about these 2? Top one this time, okay. And what about between these 2? The bottom one, okay. And then just one more. Which one would you like? The bottom one again. Okay, so we have these 2 piles of 4 cards, very much decided by you. How would you like to stack these? Your pile on top of mine or mine on top of yours? You want mine on top of yours? Okay, very good. Okay, now from here we're going to allow you to choose any of the shuffles here in any order and in any quantity actually. Now of course, since you're not here, I'm going to have to rely on this 20-sided die to make these choices for us. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just roll the die. 4. Okay, so that's an alternate Klondike. So how this works is a Klondike shuffle. You take the top and bottom card off as one, but you just deal into 2 piles, a left-right pile. Okay, very good. With random stacking decided by you. You want the right pile on top of the left. Okay, that's just fine. Okay, let's go ahead and do another one here. What about 3? Oh, a Klondike. That's a nice one. In fact, we're just kind of using the Klondike. But the regular Klondike is where you just Klondike the pairs into a single pile like this. Okay, very good. Oh, 3 again. We don't need to do another Klondike, though we could. Let's see, a 50% cut. Well, that's a very simple thing to do. You just push off the top 4 cards, which is half of them, put them to the bottom. Okay, kind of a simple operation there. Oh, an up jog, that's fun. Okay, so 11, up jog. Well, this is where, for example, you push forward the even position cards, the ones in positions 2, 4, 6, 8. You strip those out, and then you randomly stack these. You want left on right or right on left? You want left on right? Okay, your choice. Why don't we do just a couple more? I think that one went off. 18. Oh, good. This is an LR to the negative R. Okay, so how this works is you just deal into 4 piles. Now, instead of dealing again in that same order from left to right, what you do, the R up here means reverse, so you deal the second level in the reverse order. That's all that means. Now, with the stacking, you're free to stack from left to right, right to left, or leapfrog stacking, if you've heard of that before. Would you like leapfrog? Okay, from left to right or right to left? Left to right. Okay, so how this works is this pile leaps over its neighbor and lands there. This one leaps over its neighbor and lands there. And then random stack here, decided by you, of course, right on left. Okay. Okay, let's see what else the universe gives us here. A 13. Right? Oh, that's a first shall be last and a last shall be first. Okay, so how this works is I'll begin dealing the cards into separate piles, and then you'll tell me like when to stop dealing for a particular pile. So for example, now of course you're not here, so I'll have to just kind of guess what you might say. But if you were here, you could genuinely say stop at any point. So I'll start dealing, and maybe you say stop. Okay. Start dealing again. Maybe you say stop there. Maybe I deal just 1 and you say stop. And then the last 2. Okay? So this is called the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So you just stack in the opposite order to which they were dealt out. That's all that means. Oops, sorry about that. Try to keep, 8. That sounds familiar. Well, we can do another 50% cut. Be fun to get a new one here. 5, we actually Well, no, we haven't done that one, right? I don't think we've done 5. Okay, so this is where it's a Klondike shuffle, but now you're not dealing them into 2 piles, you're dealing them into 4. Okay, and the stacking can be the same as before, left to right, right to left, or leapfrog. You want to just stack from right to left, no leapfrog. Okay, your choice, that's just fine. Okay, well, let's do one more. 2. Oh, super coat. This is where you deal out half the cards, and then you're free to stack these however you would like. You want left on right. Okay. I keep saying just one more, but I'm trying to get kind of another interesting one here. So let's. 19. Can you see that? Yeah, 19. Okay, that's a Bessey 1-1. We'll finish on that one. So this is where you draw 1 card from the top, 1 from the bottom, 1 from the top, 1 from the bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Okay, so that is a quote Bessey 1-1. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we need to divide this packet into 2 piles of 4 cards each. And in some ways, I haven't really played much of a part here. I mean, you've made all of the choices for like which shuffles, how many times, the order of the stacking, and so forth. Okay, so this is my chance to play a part in all of this. So I'm going to try to use my intuition about this particular packet of cards, and I'm going to try to separate it in a very special way. Well, what would that be? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But so I'm going to deal out into 2 piles of 4, and I'm going to let the universe kind of guide me as to where the cards go. Okay, so we'll have a pile here and a pile here. Oh, that one definitely goes there. Oh boy, that was clear. Oh, again. No, over there. Nope. That one definitely got pulled to the right. Oh, boy. That one goes to the right as well. Well, the last one must go there. Okay. Well, let's see how we did. What kind of interesting structures do we have, or little packets of cards here? Well, I suspect they answer a very, very important question that was asked a long time ago. And the question was, what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? And I don't know if you remember what the answer is, but I believe the cards will reveal that here. How are they going to do that? Well, if we add these values, what do we get? That would be kind of interesting to do. Okay, so 10 plus, Jack's an 11, and King's 13, I guess. 10 plus 11, 21, plus 13, 34, plus 8 is 42. 42. Do we get the same thing here? We do indeed. In fact, we got a separate confirmation that indeed that is, in fact, the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And in the particular case of what I've done here is we actually allowed the universe to kind of guide the die in what came up. Now, if you were here, you could actually make those choices, but I don't know. I think that's evidence that, in fact, that 42 is correct. Okay, so how is this one done? So let's take a look at what's going on here. Okay. Very good. Okay, so what did I begin with? Well, as you might remember, if you've been watching some of the previous videos in this little series, because this is routine 4 here, we're going to be looking at mirrored packets, okay? And the goal is to finish with a Gilbreath-like ending, the kind of ending that you would expect to see in a Gilbreath performance. Okay, so we started with something of this structure here. Okay, so let me just show you how we did that. Okay, and I don't know if you noticed the structure that we finished with, which was 100% serendipity, by the way. we actually finish with a mirrored structure despite the mixing. Well, that's actually a reflection of the mixing itself. It ends up that all of the mixing that you happen to have chosen actually preserve mirrored structures. Now, these don't all do that. A Mon shuffle destroys it. A down under destroys it, and so forth. But the universe just happened to choose among these ones that would preserve this kind of structure. Okay, so that's kind of a funny little aside there. Okay, so what I began with is I began with pairs. And of course, I had the individual distinct values such that they add up to 42. Okay, so that's important. So I have an 8, 10, Jack, and King. Okay, so think about what I did next. In fact, we'll go ahead and do it face up. So when I began, I didn't actually show you the cards, right, at first. I could have, and we could have proceeded from there, but I thought we would have a different little opening here. So imagine the cards face down. So what I did was I pushed off the top two and I said, which would you like? Well, as far as card values, it doesn't matter. So maybe you want that one. And then I put this one on the bottom. Okay. Now I have you choose among those. Maybe you want that one. This one goes on the bottom. What about these two? Maybe you want that one this time. That goes on the bottom. And then this one right there. And then you need to put this one on the bottom. Well, what have we actually done? What kind of structure have we actually just now created? Well, once we stack these together, it's a mirrored structure, right? Because we have King, 8, 10, Jack, and then we have King, 8, 10, Jack in the opposite order. Okay, so if we go ahead and just randomly stack these, we will indeed have a mirrored packet, which is what we need to kind of illustrate this particular routine today. Okay, so we have the outer, well, look at the mirrored structure here. The outer ones need to be of the same kind, come in one, same kind, the 3s are the same, and the 4s are the same. Okay, and that's true for this packet. The Jacks on the end, then the 10s, 8s, and Kings in the middle. Okay, so this is technically mirrored to begin with. And so that little selection process gives the illusion of free choice, of course. But in the process, we actually build a mirrored packet, which is really cool. Okay, so we don't have to do any more fiddling. And from the perspective of the spectator, they made the choices there. I didn't do anything really. I just gave them the option and put the discarded card underneath, right? But all of those actions together helped us build this kind of arrangement, okay, which is exactly what we need. Okay, so what we've been talking about in routine 3 and now 4, and then we have one more, routine 5, is we've been talking about these 3 fundamental structures that are studied on the Hidden Structures channel. 2-cycle structures, that's what we covered in the previous video. Today it's mirrored structures, and then in routine 5 it'll be AMP structures. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to accomplish a Gilbreath performance-like outcome without actually performing a Gilbreath shuffle, okay? And to my knowledge, I've never heard of such a thing before. I discovered that this can be done if we apply Bessey sequence properties to the packet, okay? So what we're doing here is we're going to mentally impose this Bessey sequence structure onto this mirrored packet. Okay, what does that mean? Well, you may recall the kind of quintessential Bessey sequence is 1 0 0 1 0 1 1 0. Okay, so if you see how things are lined up here, this one, the one down here is associated with the 1 there. This one is associated with the 4. The next 2 ones are associated with a 3 and 2 respectively. So notice that the 1s are associated with a full set of these values and they're not repeating. So in particular, we'll get a 1, a 4, a 3, and a 2. The zeros are associated with a 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay? And then in the end, after mixing this with Bessey shuffles, we'll be able to kind of pull the zeros and ones apart. Okay? Now, with this identification in mind, we can view this as a Bessey sequence. And what that means then is any of the shuffles that we've talked about on this channel that preserve or invert Bessey sequences can be applied to this mirrored packet immediately. Okay? So you don't have to like openly somehow put it into a transparent Bessey sequence structure. We're going to go ahead and mentally impose it on this. But the remarkable thing is, because of this arrangements of the zeros and ones, we'll be pulling off a complete set of 1, 2, 3, 4 in some order for each of the two piles. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll do that. Let's put this packet. This time, let's go ahead and put the packet through some shuffles that don't preserve the mirrored organization of the starting packet. Okay, that would be more interesting. So hopefully, chance alone will allow us to do that. Klondike. Well, that will do it. A single Klondike. I guess in some ways I have to be careful because we performed quite a few shuffles in the original routine. But nonetheless, the net effect of the particular shuffles that we chose actually returned it to a mirrored packet. And if we were to go back in the video, I could actually show you how that was done. For example, this Klondike will take the mirrored packet to this. And then an LR shuffle takes this to there and so forth. So we were kind of bouncing around between these and we happened to land back here. Okay, but it's not important. We might land back on any of the other two and we'll still be able to finish. So actually right now we've destroyed that mirrored organization. This is now, quote, an AMP. AMP is where you have adjacent mirrored pairs so that you have these special pairs next to each other. Okay, so that happens because of the Klondike. But okay, let's go ahead and just mix this. Oh, Bessey, a 1, 1. So you take the top and then the bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom. Okay, so that will begin to kind of scramble the cards. Yeah, if you look at this now, this is a mess. This is not mirrored. And let me bring back my paper. All right. Let me just show you this really fast. Okay, so we have right now destroyed about everything, actually. Okay, so this is not a 2-cycle. There's not a repeating like 8, 10, Jack, King, 8, 10, Jack, King. It's not mirrored. You can see that. And it's not an AMP. These aren't identical pairs whatsoever. Okay, so that's very, very interesting. We have destroyed it, okay? So let's continue mixing here. So I just showed you that this is now destroyed relative to any of the structure types that we study on this channel, except for the fact that it's still a Bessey sequence. I guess I need to point that out. It's still a Bessey sequence. And that will become evident because we're going to finish in the way that we need to. Pharaoh. Okay, a Pharaoh shuffle. We keep getting some of the same ones. This crazy die is not all that random. So this is where you break it into 2 halves and then you perfectly interlace the cards in some fashion. Okay, why don't we do maybe 2 more, hoping to get kind of a new one. 13, oh, first shall be last, last shall be first. You say stop, right. Stop there, okay. And then stack in opposite order. That's what the shuffle tells us to do. Okay, let's pray for something different. 50% down under. I think we did one of those, but we'll do another one here. Okay, so how this works is you go down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, and then you can randomly stack these. Okay, so you want left on right? Your choice. Okay. I don't know if there's any more here that would just be kind of fun to do. I guess we could do a Charlier if you would like, or if not. I don't want you to think I'm like, well, maybe we should stop here, because you might think I'm needing to rearrange the cards in some way or something. Okay, well, the universe told us to stop there. Okay, so because Bessey shuffles preserve or invert the sequence structure that we imposed on that mirrored packet, we can now use this identification with the cards to separate it into two post-Gilbreath outcomes. So now in our case, the post-Gilbreath outcomes will be two packets where the card values add to 42. Okay, and I did think of one little twist that you could do. I'll show you right now that I just thought of. So we'll go ahead, and so all I did was, in my mind's eye, I was picturing this, 1001, and then kind of the inversion of that, where zeros become ones and ones become zeros. So 1001. If you switch zeros for ones, becomes 0110. You just kind of attach that to the end. So I pretended the universe was, so this is like a one here, zeros there, 0. I'm saying it out loud so you know. 0, 1, 0, 1. 1. Whoa, that was a very strong impression. And then 0. Okay, so I'm really just following that. And now what we're guaranteed to do is actually finish with one of each of those card values that, let me just show you we succeeded in the way that we said we would. But what I was going to suggest is, after kind of separating these and before the revelation, okay, what you could do to really strengthen things is you could now give the spectator the final important choice. Which pile of 4 should we work with? And now, it is true that you could have had at the beginning a little written prediction that the 4 cards in the end would answer the question, what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything, okay? Now, as you know, either packet will achieve that, right? But the spectator doesn't know that, right? So they're free to choose either one, and then you just discard this one, okay? Even kind of just put it with the other cards in the deck so that they don't see, oh, this one would have worked as well. They'll never even probably suspect that, actually, after all of this mixing. And then you could bring out your written prediction if you wanted to say that, these cards are going to answer that all-important question. How are they going to do that, And then you just show the cards and then puzzle over them for a minute and, ask the spectator, do these cards mean anything to you? I'm not sure if they mean anything to me. Two numbered cards, 2 face cards. Let's see. Well, if we add the 8 and the 10, we get 18. I'm not sure if that's important. What about, King is a 13, and I believe Jack is 11. So these add up to 24. 18 and 24. That's 42. The card values here add up to 42. And I seem to remember that that's an important number regarding this great question. In fact, let's go on to Google and check that. What is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? And the first entry that will come up is the number 42. Okay, so that's just kind of a fun way to finish. Okay, so that is what you can do if you mentally impose a Bessey sequence structure on a mirrored packet, mix it using any of the Bessey shuffles, which preserve or invert this sequence, and then you can finish in the same sort of way that a Gilbreath performance would have finished, where you have one of each of those important values in each of the piles of 4 cards each. Okay, very, very good. Well, there's just one more video left in this little series, Routine 5. And to give you a glimpse, of course, Routine 3, we talked about this 2-cycle condition. And here we've just shown you an example of using a mirrored packet and imposing a Bessey sequence on it. And then for the final routine, routine 5, the original arrangement or structure of the packet will be an AMP structure. Okay, so I hope you join me, which will round out or finish out this little series devoted to Bessey sequences and the Gilbreath Principle. So thank you again for watching.